Yeah, I only started playing rugby at about 15-year-old, and it was only by chance again. And the school team, secondary school team, was shot.
Welcome back to the Two Yorkshire for a Saint podcast. Podcast is powered by Acorn Joinery Leeds.
Massively appreciate their help to keep this podcast going. So yeah, good shout out, Gaz.
Conspicuous by his absence is our CEO Jordan, who's a bit under the weather at the moment. So hopefully he'll be joining us for the next part of this podcast. Carl, do you want to go straight in with your news round?
Yeah, as I say every week, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching from or listening from. It's been another long week in rugby league. Plenty of stuff to talk about, Gaz, in terms of news round moving forward. So first of all, we'll start off with this: the two new rules that the RFL have introduced, ready for next season. I think one of them we're in agreement with because we've discussed it before on the podcast in terms of how they're sending a try up. So
Yeah,
for the people that don't know, in 2026 they're going to send a try up as a try, and then it'll be reviewed in the background before the conversion's taken, which I think we pretty much agreed a few weeks back, Gaz, didn't we, in terms of that would be the best way moving forward.
yeah. Essentially, we're just ripping off the bunker from the NRL, aren't we? I don't mind it, to be fair. I mean, again, it's still taking away that element of, oh, can I celebrate this try? No, you don't know what's going to come next. The other one, I think, is completely pointless because you have to stop the clock after a certain time for a conversion anyway. So it's not speeding anything up, in my opinion.
No, it's I suppose it's as long as it's short, isn't it? I mean, people have been calling for this, and people don't. Some people don't like change. Some people do like change. So I suppose it's as long as it's short in terms of that. I mean, in regards to the shot clock timer, I think that's probably a better thing than not, because we saw, didn't we, players lining up conversion and literally waiting for referee to call time off.
Yeah.
I think that will do us a bit of good in the long run. I mean, anything we can do to speed the game up. I know there's going to be people bending rules, and like I said, there's good things and there's bad things about both changes. But yeah, they're the two main changes for 2026 season. Bradford Bulls news: they've managed to get somebody from Salford Red Devils. We know the state Salford have been in for the majority of the season, and obviously there's a rebuild for them going into the league below. Bradford have signed utility Joe Miller. I would say he's probably at the back end of his career. Nonetheless, he will add something to Bradford in terms of a squad, I'd imagine. Gaz, what's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it's a player I've always rated. A grafter, good number 9. I think they've got a really good signing there, to be honest.
Yeah, he's definitely, like I say, definitely brings a lot of experience. He can play 6, 7, 9. I think he's played fullback in his time. He's definitely going to offer something to Bradford. So again, another box ticked. Just switching over to the women's game very briefly, guys. I mean, we do like to give the ladies a shout out from time to time. This one's coming from obviously a signing for St Helens. Paige Travis, she signed from the Parramatta Eels. I believe she's a good player, guys. You'll probably know more about her than me. Can you tell us a bit about her and what, sort of good things about her?
Yeah, she's a great player. A character as well. She's got a lot of personality about her. Obviously going over there for a year. I thought she might get another year out of it, to be honest. But yeah, Parramatta have made the decision, so back home she comes, and a lot of people are very happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints ladies team were obviously decent last year. They got to latter part of the competition, etc. Is she the type of player that'll make a big difference in them big games?
Yeah, like I say, she's got a lot of personality about her. She's a bit of a joker in the change rooms, which is something that you need to keep everyone relaxing instead of just doing TikTok videos. But it's one of them where I think she was missed a little bit last season, so it's just replacing her own spot basically.
Yeah, she's definitely going to bring something by the sounds of it. So we wish her well and the rest of the St Helens ladies, for 2026 moving forward. Wish them all the best. This one surprised me. This next piece of news. I mean, he's probably my favourite Rovers player for the last couple of seasons, and not necessarily always catches the eye. But Kalepi Tanganoa, there's rumours that he's fell out with Willie Peters halfway through the season. That's just passed us by. I mean, rumours are rumours. Make of it what you will. He has signed a deal, a long-term deal with the Warrington Wolves. I'm a little, like I said a second ago, I'm a little bit gutted with this one because Pepe Tanganoa coming off the bench and giving you a bit of go forward 20, 25 minutes into the game is probably the best at doing that within the league. People will obviously disagree, because there's plenty of good second rows out there. And when he's played proper, he's done a good job as well, coming off bench and, like I say, punching holes in line. I'm shocked. I'm a little bit shocked, but I know the reasons why. I mean, it can only be a good thing for Warrington moving forward because they seem to sign players year in, year out that are very inconsistent. And Pepe Tanganoa, Gazzy, is probably one of the most consistent players within Rovers' squad over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's a very sign that it's a sign that's very typical of Warrington, in my opinion. They sort of like when things go wrong at a club between a player or whatever, they're right there like a bunch of hyenas, ready to just be like vulture into it. Again, they're signing a name rather than what could be best for the team, and it's essentially been the downfall for a long time now. I could be completely wrong. He could be the missing piece of the other where it can finally be their year, but you never know, do you?
And I mean, excuse me. I mean, it's one of them from as much as I'm gutted that he's going because he was one of my favourite players for Rovers. I mean, there's very, very little Willie Peters gets wrong in his time that he's been at Rovers. I think the calls he has made, 99.9% of the time, have been the right calls. So obviously, Willie hasn't had any problem with that, releasing him. And obviously, Warrington have snapped him up because obviously he's a quality player. So I'll watch that one closely. And, to Kalepi and his family, wish him all the best moving over there. And like I say, I'll definitely add something to the Warrington Wolves. The next piece of news, Leeds Rhinos, they've released a youngster, Noah Whittingham. He's the latest player to sign for the newly promoted York Knights. I was going to ask Jordan a bit more about Noah because obviously me and you are Leeds Rhinos based or have the knowledge that Jordan does on the Leeds Rhinos. I can only assume that it's one of them guys with Leeds and yourself, St Helens. You can't play all these young kids and eventually some of them are going to go.
Yeah, it's being able to pick out the right ones that you want to keep. It's when George Rippey first started coming down, and I'll rant on about him all the time because I'll just believe in the player. These people have had concerns that, now we've got Jackson Hastings, he's going to be the next one on the chopping board. But recently we've done all right with this. We've kept Barry Robertson and Owen Dagnall and George Rippey there, and Noah Stevens as well. Again, Noah Whittingham, I don't know a lot about him. I've not seen much of him. Like I said, Jordan would know more than we will. I just hope for Leeds that they've got someone else who's quite higher rated.
Mm. Yeah, well, that's what I was sort of getting at a second ago. Like when I named yourself St Helens and Rhinos and Wigan, they've always had this knack of getting the best of the youngsters, sort of picking the right players to stay and develop. And ultimately, some of them have to move on, don't they? So it's obviously no Whittingham. It sounds like he's one of them that's going to move to York and try and get some game time. What we will do is on next week's pod, when Jordan's back from his illness, we'll get a bit more of an insight into that and get Jordan's opinion on that. From one end of the scale to the other, from young to sort of not middle age, because that's a bit of a harsh statement to make. Toby Sexton, he's come across from the NRL to sign for the Catalan Dragons. Sorry. Now I'm going to make a statement at you guys, and you can shoot me down as much as you want, or you might agree with me. But these NRL players sort of come over here when it's not going, according to plan for their careers. In Australia, he signed for a year with Catalan. he's not actually kicked a ball for them, and now there's rumours swirling around that he's already, got himself a contract for 2027 with a Perth Bears.
Perth, isn't it?
Yeah. It's disappointing if that is true. But again, a Catalan, we've touched on it quite a few times in the off-season, haven't we? You just don't want Catalan and other teams within Super League to be a stepping stone. Does that look like it is the case with this?
It's another halfback as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another one,
exactly.
another halfback taking Catalan for a ride, if I'm honest. Also, we've seen it with Kieran, and then before that Maloney. They've basically turned up and wiped their feet on the carpet inside rather than the mat outside. Yeah, it makes me glad that the likes of Bevan French and Jay Field, who have signed deals up to stay over here. So it's a bit of a statement. Then we get this drivel coming out, but I don't know. You never know. He might not even kick on. So it could be you could see Lewis Dodd more than him.
Yeah, well, that's it. And we touched a minute ago on Warrington sort of being that team where they're signing names, and you'd put Catalan in that same bracket, wouldn't you, for the names that you've just sort of mentioned. They just don't quite seem to get it right with the exporting the arts over here. They either come over here, they play well for a year, or they come over here, do 2 years of nothing but have an holiday and go back. I just hope that Toby Sexton's not planning on doing that, because obviously we all want us, whether it's Catalan or it's Rovers or it's St Helens, you all want your teams at the strongest, don't you, to give us the best possible competition in terms of quality.
If a player's coming from the NRL and they're just trying to put themselves in the shop window for another NRL club, I don't mind, as long as they're fully committed for the time they're here and they get you some silverware. It's like when Ben Barber came over to us. Less said about when he left, the better after what he got up to, but he turned up and he played his socks off for us, and we just missed out in the grand final. But yeah, it winds me up when they just come over and they sort of half-arse it, and then off they go again. So listen, while you're here, play for that badge, whatever the hell you are.
Yeah, it's definitely one to watch, because, like I say, he hasn't kicked a ball for the Dragons yet, and it's like, I don't take your point that if they come over here and they're looking at winning silverware, but he's not. I wouldn't say Catalan are in that sort of bracket of they're going to be in the top two. They're going to be challenging at the latter end of the Challenge Cup and etc. I just don't see him winning a trophy within one season. It's a bizarre one.
Rare. Catalan sign a player that's in the prime as well. Even domestic players like Tommy Makerson's gone over there. Still a great player, but he's definitely had his best days with us. And then who else was there? Sam Tompkins went over there when he was past his prime. When you get these big name players, McAlorum, yeah, you get these players in like big names who I don't want to say past it because disrespecting them, but not where they used to be.
Yeah, they're certainly not in the prime or at the start of their career, are they? I don't know. You just like I said, you just hope that he's not here for a free ride and a holiday, and I'm pretty sure that he's not, and we hope that he's not, and we hope we get the best from him, because the bits I've seen him in the NRL playing for the Bulldogs, he's certainly got something to offer. It's just if he can do that within the timescale that is at the Dragons.
Do you reckon
moving
it's a
on,
case
guys.
Oh, sorry, just one last thing on that. Do you reckon it's a case of his contract was up, no NRL clubs came in, Perth can't do anything until next year? I think he's just filling the gap, really, now.
Yeah, I follow the NRL quite a bit, like, as you know. Last season, the Bulldogs, they made a signing of Lockie Galvin from the West Tigers, and he was classed as the next big youngster coming through. Obviously, Stephen Crichton was already playing in the halves there anyway. So, as good of a player Toby Sexton is, he's obviously got nudged out because, they've got Crichton, he's the here and now, and they've got Lockie Galvin, who was obviously now and the future. So, Toby Sexton would have to be an absolute well-beater to get played at 6 and 7 And Toby's probably not stupid. He's obviously realised that and thought, right, I need to go and put myself in shot window. So
Yeah.
obviously he's done that, and it looks like he's got a quicker return than he probably expected. So it's difficult, and I understand why he's done it. It's just you just don't want it being at the sacrifice of the Dragons, do you? So that's probably why that's happened, mate. And like I say, we'll keep an eye on it, and hopefully he'll do good things in the Catalan Dragons jersey. So we'll park that one up there. A bit of St Helens news, which you're happy as a pig in shite, so to speak. They've announced new captain, Matty Lees. Surely there's nobody more worthy than Matty.
Yeah, I believe it was a condition of him re-signing, but that's just rumour. Yeah, I think Lomax stepping down as captain is the right thing. He'll probably have limited game time now with Hastings, Sale, and Whitby coming through as well. I love Johnny to bits, you know what I mean? But it's time. It's time he started to step back now. Still got the brain for it, but his legs aren't there anymore. And I think Matty Lees will be on the pitch more. There's the argument that he's a prop forward, he's on and off the pitch, but I think Wellesby's vice captain, so I think he'll just take over in that time.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is the a joint captain? Sometimes you have co-captains as vice captains, isn't they? I mean, probably as many captains as players on field now, because in their own right, they'll lead in their own ways, won't they? But what I see from Matty Lees for St Helens and for England, he certainly leads from the front, and he puts a marker down every time he plays. He's probably not the biggest of props, but he can carry the ball.
Yeah, and he's not scared to hit as well. As we found out, especially the way him and North played in that second game. They bullied Australia, the pair of them.
Yeah, they did. I mean, if we'd have had a bit more quality in the final third in that second Ashes game, we could have been a lot closer, couldn't we? I mean, but going back to the question in hand, he's definitely the man for the job. Before we move on, Gaz, I know you said Wellesby's the vice captain. Was anybody else in your reckoning that would have been up for that captaincy role, or is it a clear-cut case of that Matty Lee stands out so he gets it?
Up until the end of this season, I'd have said Morgan Knowles, because there's no one better to be captain at Saints, but obviously he's gone now. Bat Percival's a shout, but he spends a lot of time on the trainer's table. Who else could there be? I mean, he's not. Curtis Soonen in the back row. That could have been a good shout, but I think it's better to have someone local to the club being a captain, because they'll have the passion for it more than anyone else. I mean, you can fall in love with the club from the outside, but when you're from the town, it means more.
Mm-hmm. Well, as they say, it's one of their own type of thing, isn't it? So that extra 5-10% will be a massive difference, especially in big games and derby games, etc. Yeah. I mean,
it's also
Matty Lees is probably at the right age.
Yeah, and it's with it being his testimonial year as well, that'll affect an extra few quid as well, I think.
Yeah, he's certainly at the right age, because if there's a few of them names you've just mentioned, like your Sirenans and all them, they're probably a bit more back end, where that'd only be a short term fix in terms of naming somebody like that captain. But when Matty Lees, he's got plenty of years ahead of him, haven't we? So you're probably more than happy with that. Yeah, that's for sure. Last Thursday, Gaz, the RFL had released the fixtures. We're just going to have a little chat in terms of what you think of them. I mean, from a Rovers selfish point of view, I've looked at them fixtures, and some of them are very, very difficult and very awkward. We go to Vegas in February, and then we play Catalan away in March, and then Toulouse away in April. So that's not an easy stretch of games. I mean, is there anything that stands out for you in terms of St Helens fixtures sort of run?
I can't even blame the RFL for this, because I believe I'm led to believe that a certain person within the club has requested to have certain games early on in the season, i.e., overseas games, which the fans are not happy about at all. I mean, I understand someone has to go there early, but when
Hmm.
no disrespect to these, like some Huddersfield, not going to take many, are they? You can't put enough in their own stand. But when you've got like St Helens or Wigan, Leeds, who are going to take numbers over to Catalan and Toulouse and put them early on in the season, it's ridiculous. When there's nothing open, it's cold. Like you go for the all day, don't you, as well? But you go for the sun
Yeah.
and everything else that's going on.
But you try and tick the boxes, don't you? And I don't know. Sometimes with that, if you're asking for stuff within house, you've got nobody to blame but yourself, have you? Whereas
Yeah.
if you let the powers that be, i.e., the RFL, and they make the decisions, and then it's out of your hands. So I suppose it's a double-edged sword in terms of
Yeah.
that, isn't it? I
Well,
mean,
it's like with the Vegas
so-
thing. I mean, I'm not having a pop, by the way. It's just you put your hand up to go over there, you got selected, so it is a bit on their own backs a little bit, but like they could have arranged the other games a bit better. But yeah, I get what you're coming from with that.
yeah, I mean the Vegas game. I don't criticise that too much because it's a one-off, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
when you guys went over to Australia, it's a similar thing, isn't it? You went over to play
yeah,
at
yeah.
Penrith, didn't you? And it Rovers are
And you have to
costing
throw
that,
Brisbane there as
footing
well.
the cost of that game. Yeah,
You got a
yeah, yeah,
massive, tough game against Brisbane thrown in the middle of all that.
yeah. And that's what I'm sort of going to go on to now is that you know it's in a way success is a punishment because your
Yeah, it comes with
backlog's
the territory, doesn't it?
double busy. It comes with the territory. Everybody's trying to hunt you down. Being a St Helens fan over the years, when you're at the top, everybody wants to knock you off. So you've got to
Yeah,
go through these tough fixture rounds, haven't you? You've got to go to these tough away games, weeks and weeks on bounce. So for me, the Vegas thing's not a massive issue. It's if Rovers can sort of back that up, over the course of a few months. It could be a slow start. Sorry for Rovers, slow start to the season. They could get all kinds of backdraft off the Vegas trip and all that type of stuff. It is what it is, and I'm sure we'll do us best. Magic weekend
what
fixtures,
I
guys. It
will,
looks like
yeah, one thing I will say in it though is we got a lot of grief saying, "Oh, players are like, oh, still jet lagged out." Because we had a bad start that season after the World Club Challenge. It's a real thing. The players are going to feel it, so just be patient with them in them early games.
yeah. And at the end of the day, they're human beings, aren't they?
Yeah, end
Simple
of the day,
as
it's like
that.
some
Yeah,
Warrington who don't win anything that say stuff like that.
yeah. If I'm totally honest, and I take my Rovers cap off, I am expecting a bit of a downturn, in
Yeah, there's
performance.
going to be a
One,
little
it's
drop off there.
it's early in the season, isn't it? And then
Yeah,
until obviously the trip, that type of stuff, the atmosphere that zaps, straight out the players, doesn't it? And then yeah, it's just a busy schedule in the first couple of months of the season. So I'm not expecting miracles, and I'm a realist, and I'm pretty sure most of all the other OKR supporters are the same as myself. The realists, and they'll be there to back them regardless. Looking at the other fixtures, Gaz, Magic Weekend, Rivals Round as they call it still.
yeah,
Are you happy with that? You play Wigan? Are you happy with that? I'm sure you're
yeah.
very happy because it's at your beloved Everton's
It's
ground.
what Magic should always be, rivals round, because it it gives it's almost like a final atmosphere where you're on neutral ground, and it's like obviously we're going to again the biggest game, then the other one. Oh, he's not biting.
We're not getting into this debate
We're not
again, are
getting
we?
into that one, no. We won't get into that one, but yeah. Um, big stadium, 50 odd thousand seats. So we're better to have play against your rivals in a bigger ground.
Big atmosphere. I mean, for the people like myself who haven't been to the new Everton ground yet, I mean, I'm told. Oh, obviously, I know it's on the docks. I'm told is it 20 minutes from the city centre? Is it?
Yeah,
Is it
it
sort of
is,
good?
but
Is it a good venue for that, guys, or is it just a case of trial and error at the moment?
it could be trial and error. I mean, there's been a lot of complaints about nothing going on around the stadium doing the Ashes, but It's Magic Weekend. They'll have things on. They'll have pop-up bars. We've got a few pubs knocking about. I understand people saying, "Oh, we was going to drive down." I say, "Well, why are you driving down? Go down and bloody enjoy yourself." You know what I mean? Don't go watch your game and piss off home. You know what I mean? Be there in the atmosphere with everyone. Be down there for the day or the weekend, whichever you want to do.
I like
That's
that.
the problem with rugby league,
Honesty
right?
is key.
Yeah, people want to whinge about something, and they're not happy unless they're whinging. It's like, well, listen, there's shuttle buses, there's trains that'll get you down there. You know, it's not the end of the world.
And even more so, yourselves, Wigan, Warrington, all them sort of teams, Lancashire, where it's like I'm not Google Maps by any stretch of the imagination, but what is it, 20 minutes, half an hour on a train for most of them places to get
Yeah,
to
I mean,
the Hill
we'll most
Dickinson?
likely get on the court straight to the stadium. You know what I mean? So that's one way of getting around the situation. But yeah, I mean, it's for me to get to Liverpool city centre. It's about 25 minutes on the train, easy.
So it's probably quicker to get there than it is waiting for coach, basically.
But
So
probably, yeah. Well, yeah.
there's,
You can have a
there's
drink when
probably
you're
no
waiting for the coach.
excuses there.
No, I mean, I understand for like elderly people who they can't get around like they used to. I understand with them. It's just when you get people who just think everything should be just put on a plate for them. It's like, oh, it's a working class game. You know what I mean? People used to walk to and from stadiums all the time.
You've got to make the effort, and I'm pretty sure most of people will. You'll always get the minority of people that want to complain about the colour of the sky and the colour of the grass. Let them get on with it. That's what I say.
Old man
Uh,
shouts at
when
clouds.
into Yeah, that as well, exactly. Uh, what I would say, Gaz, is over the years we've sort of seen Magic being taken to various venues, and we've always sort of gone back to Newcastle in the end. Is it a case of give it a couple of years if we can get it at Hill Dickinson's and let it grow and see if we can turn it into sort of the event that we know it can be?
Yeah, I mean, I understand the argument for Newcastle because you're literally in the city centre, aren't you? Everything's there, everything that you need. Um, is it's brand new. You know what I mean? The pubs have only just been built there. They might build hotels nearby. You know what I mean? They'll probably build like a route through from the city centre, which will be just for match days for like, well, close it on match days, just have the transport to and from the stadium. There is a lot they can do. There's a lot of space around there. They can put a lot, do a lot with it.
Yes, I think it's just patience. Patience is sort of key, isn't it? With events like this, you might get to June and it might be the first Magic where this 2026 Magic weekend there, and just because if we get to the end of that weekend and the numbers aren't great and people are sort of moaning and groaning, that shouldn't necessarily be the end of it. We've got to give it time, haven't we? We've got to be
Yeah,
patient, and try and be positive with it rather than negative. So wherever we take the game, it's all exposure, and hopefully we can take it there and sort of keep it there and build something like we have done at Newcastle over the years, like we've just touched on. Is there any other fixtures that stand out in that list to you, guys? I mean, this might
Good
be
Friday.
Good Friday's
It's the
always
one, isn't
sort
it?
of key, isn't it? Yeah, I have a good swill that day. I don't know about you.
Oh, do you know what? We were away this year, and I think we kicked off about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that. And by half time, we were standing like right at the back of the stand because thought I'm not sitting down, we're standing up. It's a derby game. Some poor lad, I don't think he was old enough to drink, was throwing his guts up. I thought, yep, you'll learn, son. You'll learn. We've all been there, haven't we? But yeah, halfway through a game, you're not well. It's like, oh, you're wasting your time here, kid.
I bet he woke up the following morning and didn't remember a thing about it.
Oh,
And
I
like
probably
you
forgot that we
say,
lost. Do you know what? That's not a bad idea. That wish I'd have forgot about that game.
just see what it's like at half time, sort of 60
Yeah.
minutes into the game, and then that'll make you determine how much you're going to drink or not.
Oh yeah.
One game that did catch my eye is the very last game of the season, September 11th, away at the
Yeah.
Brewdog Stadium.
Us.
If Saints, yeah, we play Saints away last game of the season. I mean, normally by then the sort of playoffs are wrapped up, Gaz. But I'm pretty sure that regardless, what happens with the playoffs and whatnot, me and you will have a good get together, won't we? And that's in a chat, and we'll be good mates before and after the game. So I'm definitely looking out for that one. But yeah, there's some interesting fixtures. Obviously, you've got Leeds, Bradford. That's back, isn't it? You've got the French derby, we'll call it now, which is Magic Weekend. You've got your Wigan Saints as normal, Hull KR Hull FC as normal. So there's some big games in there, and the season.
Lately, I've been stuck with Warrington.
Yeah, well, these are that as well, isn't they? I'm sure Derek will put on a show for that game. That's what he normally does, doesn't he? The greatest show on earth, as he calls it. But yeah, there's some cracking fixtures, and obviously the season
call that the greatest show on earth when neither won the bloody league for God knows how many years? Half of that, Aliwell Jones did, well, not half. I was saying 95%, so that's not seeing them win a league title.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, he's club. Yeah, well done.
It's probably one of them A for effort, and that's about it.
Yeah, noisy neighbours.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, you and Wigan have got the bragging rights in that area. That's for sure, mate. So yeah, I mean, like you said, there's some key dates, some good fixtures, and to be honest, I can't wait to get stuck into 2026 because it's going to be very interesting from a Rovers point of view and from a York, Bradford, Toulouse point of view. Obviously, there's a number of teams within the Super League that are already there anyway, like yourselves. They'll be looking to kick on now with new signings. So, obviously, always Warrington, Gia. Derek always makes signings at Lee. So, I'd imagine everybody will be stronger, and it'll just be the not knowing factor of York, Bradford, and Toulouse. So, I mean, there's definitely all to play for and everything to look forward to. Gaz, just before we move on to the next segment, you wanted to have a special mention for us, Kevin?
Yeah, he's set off on his next 7-7 this morning. I can't remember where he's going. I know he's going Whitehaven, Workington, Ipswich, Bury St Edmunds is where he started off. And there's other places. It's nothing short of superhuman what the man does there.
I mean, jokes aside, for him to do that originally for Rob was like unbelievable, and then he's just going over and
he's
over,
just not giving up.
and over and over again. The guy is an absolute machine, and it'll be one of them. You'll have to pick him up off the ground for him to stop doing that.
Yeah,
and that it's just a testament to the man that he is. Obviously doing it for Rob and the Yemenin community. It's absolutely sensational, and we hope that everybody gets behind him, all that type of stuff, and raise as much awareness and obviously funds as possible, guys. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? I get knackered running to the top of the stairs, mate. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I mean, I used to run cross country once upon a time. I can't run across the road now. So, I mean, what Kev's doing is just it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think you'll have to go a hell of a long way to find anybody better than what to do what he's doing any better. It's probably just not possible. I mean, it must be more of a mind over physical sort of battle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Your body can only take you so far, but your mental state's got to be right as well, hasn't it?
Your mental state gives up before your body does. So if you get your head into it, your body can keep going.
Yeah, it's just it won't bear sort of thinking about because we just wouldn't be able to do it the likes of myself and you and just the general public. But he is some bloke, hence why he's a say now.
Well, he's sort of there's nobody. Do you know what? It's winding me up now the way people are saying, why is he not got it? It's like because he's not eligible yet. He got his MBE now. He has to wait a certain amount of time before he's eligible, which I think might be next year. I'm not entirely sure, but it might be next year.
But for me, I just call him a say because it's not on a bit of paper or he hasn't got a medal. Yeah,
it's the people's
night. I mean, there used to be a bit of a joke, didn't they, when he was in his playing days, and a lot of the Rhino supporters like Jordan, etc., they all called him safe for a lot of years because he was a hell of a player. But for the wider rugby league community, I just call him Sir anyway now because there's nobody in sport more deserving of it than Kevin
There's
Sinfield.
nobody in the world more deserving.
No, no, exactly, mate. So it's a
Also,
testament to him.
just before we wrap up, I just want to throw this in quick. There's a game going that's in St Helens on Sunday, which is the 7th of December. It's basically to raise money for the Steve Prescott Foundation and the Mickey Hyam Fund. We know Mickey's had a horrible diagnosis recently. Absolutely stacked with rugby league legends. I'll just go through the teams now if that's all right. So, representing Mickey Hyam, you've got Mickey himself, Stephen Ratchford, Chris Hill, Kevin Penny, Mike Cooper, Benny Westwood, Derek Beaumont. He does a lot for Steve Prescott Foundation, though, so I'll give him his due. Paul Wood, Gary Hulse, Alex Hyam, Ariane, which are Mickey's kids, and Martin Ridyard. For the Steve Prescott Foundation team, we've got Lou McCarthy Scarsbrook, Chris Joint, Sean Long, Mike Bennett, Gaz Langley, James Roby, Matty Smith, Murray Fassafalou, Paul Clough, Greg McNally, and Adi Gardner. It's essentially, it's kind of like a Warrington Legends v Saints Legends in a way, innit? With the odd few thrown in. But there are sponsors who have raised a certain amount who are going to be joining in with the game as well, which is something I'm going to do next year. And it's going to be officiated by Liam Moore. Nice. So I've got a bit of a who's who of the rugby league world in there, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what strikes me with some of them names you called out there, Gaz? Is that it was only a couple of weeks ago when you was at that charity event. I think there was a few names, same names there, wasn't there? So there's probably people come from all around the world just to do these charity events, and obviously they've stayed on now for this one for Mickey and the others. So I mean, again, it's a testament to the game, and that's what rugby league's all about.
Absolutely, it's always a good, always good turnout for that Steve Prescott Foundation game. So they just combined the two this year, which I think there might be something to do going forward. Oh, yeah, I want to really give a shout out to Martin Blondell, who organises pretty much everything with this. I'll be there with a stall if people want to come and talk rugby league with us, and hopefully get a couple of players and have a chat with them. Jordan has made a miraculous recovery from his illness and he's here to continue. We have a special guest tonight, recently retired and about to embark on a testimonial year, Mr. Kris Welham. How are you doing, pal?
Good, mate. How are you?
Hi, mate. Good stuff. So, yeah, where do we start, Carl? Do you want to go into the beginning of everything?
Yeah, we've got a sort of a bit of a few notes for Kris, and we'll get through his career from the very beginning. To your time, mate, we really appreciate. We know you're busy with your testimonial and work, etc. First of all, mate, how is post rugby league? How are you getting on after rugby league?
Yeah, good, mate. Enjoying it. Plenty of spare time on my hands now. Not much has really changed, to be fair, at the minute, because obviously the boys have just finished. Well, not 6 weeks ago, finished the season, so they've only just recently started training again. So this is the usual time off you'd get anyway as a player. So not much has changed at the minute, but I'm sure when they start playing again, come January, February time, I might have a different mindset and miss it a little bit. But at the minute, I'm all good.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that you're in that sort of window where you won't be doing too much at the minute, and then in a few weeks' time, come after Christmas, you will be back in sort of game mode with rugby league, wouldn't you? So
yeah,
I mean, I know we spoke previously, didn't we, off air, that you've got a career beyond rugby league, and we'll get into that very briefly now before we go very back to the start. What is it you're up to, mate, after you finish playing and grade, etc.? What you want with the rest of your working life now?
Yeah. So I'm doing pest control at the minute, so chasing rats around instead of rugby blokes. It's my father-in-law's business. He's had it for 20, 30 years. He's retired now 3 years ago, so I've took over. So it's solely mine now. And I started that when I finished playing Super League with Salford. I started playing part-time with Featherstone at the time and transitioned into part-time rugby and sorting life out after rugby, and that's where the job came in.
It's not a bad idea, is it, when you've still got plenty of playing time, but you're still working on for life after quite early on?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was the plan.
It's quite intriguing that, because last week we had Ben Crooks on, and the questions that we all always ask are very similar. You know, we know rugby league players don't make vast amounts of money to be able to retire on, so I'd say 90% rugby league players have got something to fall back on when they hang the boots up. Ben said last week he didn't have a clue what he wanted to do. He's done numerous jobs. Obviously, you've got in there. You've got yourself secure for the future. I mean, originally you was a decorator, wasn't you, mate? And was that never going to sort of carry on in the future? Was it as soon as you attained rugby, you was going to go into your father-in-law's business, or was that just sort of something that came as you went down the line?
Yeah, just something that happened during the line. As I said, I was a paint and decorator when I finished school, and during that period of school and college, I qualified as a decorator. But full-time rugby became available at OKR, and obviously I took that opportunity. And then along my journey as playing and growing up, I obviously met my now wife, which obviously was the father-in-law's business. So it just felt lucky, really, that he's got two sons himself, but they're not interested in being involved in rodents. Otherwise, it could have been back to painting and decorating.
Brother of the brush.
Yeah. It's not construction's not all that bad. I'm within construction, mate. So there's pros and cons to it, but it's good to hear that you've got your future sorted out moving forward. So we'll take it right back to the very start, Kris. I mean, where did rugby league all start for you? Was you sort of your junior clubs? Was you a late bloomer, so to speak?
I was, yeah. I only started playing rugby at about 15-year-old, and it was only by chance again. And the school team, secondary school team, was short of numbers. I was a footballer from my childhood, but as I said, there were short of numbers, and they asked me just to fill in, just to make the team. And I enjoyed that game of rugby then, and never looked back. And went and signed for Mighty Warriors. That was my junior team, so I played probably about a year and a half down there, and then obviously got signed up and went full time with OKR.
I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong. Are you an awful lad?
I am, yes.
So
Yeah, off Orchard Park originally, yes.
Yeah, I mean, is it? People can sort of look at the way, whether it's Orchard Park or Branzone. I'm sure there's various council estates within the country. Was it an area where sport was the only thing for you to do?
It was pretty much, yeah. As you said, these estates sometimes got a bad reputation, but when you live on there, you're sort of embedded in it, and you don't really know what it's about. And just a group of lads, we were just playing football. I said I was a footballer when I was younger, so we're just out on the grass all days playing football and running around chasing each other like kids do it back then.
Yes, I think it's pretty much the same for us all in sort of them days, wasn't they? I mean, you said about you was a footballer. Was you always better at football? Was you better at rugby league? I'm assuming it was rugby league, hence turning professional.
Yeah. I love playing football, and since I've finished at Sheffield a few months back, I've been playing for my mates team on a weekend. So I've took playing back up. I really enjoy it. I don't like watching it, but I love playing it. But yeah, I say I love rugby league, and opportunities came really, really fast. As I said, I started late when I was 15, but 16, 17-year-old, there were opportunities to play professional. So I took them up. I'd be daft not to.
It's really, really quick turnaround, that, and if going from just playing for your school at 15, then 2 years later you signed professional contracts.
Yeah, it was madness. Yeah, I said I'd never played rugby before that. I didn't even like rugby. I'd never touched a rugby ball before, but yeah, I just sort of took to it and enjoyed it.
Oh, it shows, doesn't it? All things happen.
Can't argue with that.
You don't get many stories like that, because as you know from ex-pros you've played against, a lot of them come 6-7 years of age and they don't do anything else but. So for you to start late and get to the way you did in the game is obviously a credit to you. So fair play for that, mate. Looking back at some of your ex-clubs, we've got, obviously, you've hit the 450 career game, Matt, didn't you, recently?
Yep.
Most of your games was for Hull KR. You've got 191 games for the Robins. There was two random games on loan at the Newcastle Thunder. I mean, was that sort of a period where you was injured or shipped out and just sort of to get a bit of fitness? How did that? It's just very random, but
yeah, it was very random.
About?
I think it's when Craig Sandercock was in there, and to be honest, we didn't really have a great relationship. I don't think he was too keen with me, and I don't know if he was just trying to maybe force me out or test me, see how I reacted to that. But I'm just a down to earth guy, and he said, obviously, I wasn't happy going out and playing there, but when they say you go there, I mean they're the bosses at the end of the day. You do what you're told, and I didn't question it or cause any hassle and anything like that. I just went and played the games, and before I knew it, I was back in the team.
Yeah, it's funny that actually, because I remember when Sandy was at the club, me and a friend had gone to an event at Rovers, and at that, obviously, I don't want to get you into any bother, mate, but at the time there was quite a lot of whispers that people didn't really get on with him. He was a little bit not embedded in the culture in the club, and some people, if your face didn't fit, you just you wasn't in the reckoning, was you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I'm not saying that's what happened to you, mate, but obviously you were, it's like in Hull, it's like a goldfish ball, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll say no more on that one, mate. It's pretty much confirmed my suspicions. There's also 30 games for the Bradford Bulls, 102 games for the Salford Red Devils, 16 games for Featherstone, and 108 for the Sheffield Eagles recently. The Bradford move, mate, how did that sort of come about? Where was you in your career for that to sort of happen?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a mad story, this of OKR, because we was coming into the 2015 season. Before the season even started, I got called in to a meeting with, it was Chris Chester and Mike Smith was the CEO then, I believe. And they said to me at the beginning of the year, said, we don't want you this year. Like, we've got a loan deal sorted out for you for the season. And I refused point blank. I said, no, I'm not going nowhere. Like, this is my club. I'm staying here, sort of thing. And they said, well, you won't get much game time. You won't play. I said, well, that's fine. I was sort of like dug my heels in and said, that's fine. I'll just sit on the sideline then and just collect a wage, sort of thing. Anyway, cut a long story short, I played every game that year, barring one. We got to Challenge Cup final. That's the year we got to the final. And just before the final, Chris Chester said that the club decided that they wanted to keep me. They wanted to sign me again for the following year, and so I was dead happy. I've been there my whole career. I thought I'd stay there forever. Anyway, final came and went. I think there was 7 or 8 games left of the season. I kept knocking every week, like saying, "I've got a deal sorted. I've got a deal sorted." And before you know it, the season's finished, and they said, "No, I've got no money left." Club's already done their recruitment for the following year, so I was stuck in limbo. And me and my wife, we'd already had a holiday booked to Australia straight away after the season, so we was away for a month. So we were stuck in Australia. I didn't have no club. Didn't know what I was going to do. Luckily, Bradford came knocking and asked about me. Now still full time in the Championship at the time, so it suited me very well. So I got a bit lucky there. I didn't want to drop out of Super League, but as I said, my options was I didn't have many options because it was so late in the year and people had done the recruitment already.
Yeah, it's a funny one that. I mean, we spoke to Crooksy about it last week, and some of the stories that you hear of when you're not within them sort of four walls of the club are quite remarkable, really, aren't we? We keep saying we know there's not massive amounts in terms of money in rugby league, but sometimes you just think people could be a bit more honest with you, Kris. Is that the sort of way you felt after being told one thing, and then another thing happened?
100%. Like I said before the Wembley final, they said they wanted to keep me, so there's plenty of time to put money aside or sort a deal out and put it on the table. But as I said, they left it so late in the season, like to actually say, right, we've got no money left or we don't want you. As I said, people have done their recruitment and spent their budget already, so I was stuck in limbo. I dropped down to Championship at a part-time club and take less money, or I signed for another Super League club if anyone wants me, but for peanuts. It's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So you have to do what's
at the end of the day, you've got to pay your bills, haven't you, mate?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I said to someone today, I did an interview today, like, as I've progressed in my career and got more experience, and as much as I love Ulkian, it's my club, and I'm a whole boy, it's my hometown club. I love playing for them. Like, there's no loyalties in rugby league. I mean, I still love Ulkian. I was obviously annoyed at the time, but you get replaced, don't you? It's like it's a business at the end of the day, and you're forgotten about and moved on, and people come in and take your spot. It's just part and parcel of the game. I understand that now, but at the time I was gutted. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, without sticking a knife in the club's back, which I'd never do, because I love them as much as you do, mate. I believe we got beat 50-0 at Wembley by Rhinos at that point, didn't we? So,
Yeah, we did, yeah.
hey, who knows if Kris Welham had been there, we might not have got beat by that score type of thing. So, I mean, Jordan's smiling at the other end of his camera because he's a Rhinos supporter, so he likes to rub it in from time to time, mate. But yeah, it sort of went downhill from that point for the club, didn't it? Getting relegated and back down to the Championship and all that type of stuff. So yeah, obviously you went to the Bulls, mate, from that point to further your career and pay your bills, basically.
Yeah.
How was your time at Bradford? Was it? You saying there was sort of full time still? Was it still quite a professional outfit?
It was, yeah. We had a really good team, to be fair. A lot of experienced players amongst that team. I said it was full time, so it suited my lifestyle still, and it was a decent wage. But yeah, I loved it. Loved my time there. I think I had a really good record down there. I think I played like 30 games that year and scored 29 tries. It was probably one of my best years I've had. As I said, I was just touched on Hull Cardiff then. Like, I never wanted to leave. I thought I'd end my career there, but getting sort of let go. A change is good sometimes. It rejuvenates yourself, and I think I did that. Yeah.
Is that
What?
is it sorry is that like a worry, Kris, for like a player yourself, like when you're playing at Super League level and then you drop down to Championship? Is it always that worry of I don't want to be here, I want to be Super League? Like, obviously we know Super League's the top league, don't we? So
Yeah, that was one of our thoughts. Me and the wife, I said we was away in Australia, and Bradford came in. It's like, do we really want to go there? Because as I said, a lot of players that drop out of Super League don't return. Yeah. But I had to take that chance because, as we keep mentioning, that there weren't many options for me at the time, and Bradford was full time, so it suited me, and that's where we went. But I got a bit of fortune when I was at Bradford. Bad luck for them. Like, they went into liquidation the second year I was there in pre-season. They started having financial problems, and lucky for me, Salford came knocking.
Yeah, that's it, mate. And it's one door shuts and another one always opens in any sport, really. I mean, what my memories of you stand out being on the East End Terrace since I've been an 8-year-old kid was you always running out that line trying to put a marker on somebody.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll admit that you weren't the biggest centre of all time, but Jesus Christ, mate, when you came out that line and shut a play down, you shut a play down, didn't you?
Yeah, that was part of Justin Morgan mainly. Really, that was part of the game plan that he wanted me to do and stuff like that. And it wasn't always successful as we know. There's a lot of missed tackles as well during that time, but that was part of it. And again, the more experience and the more games I've played, especially the later end of my career, I've sort of learnt the game and known how to defend a lot better than that. But yeah, some good times there, man. Some good tackles.
Yeah,
well, Kris, if I've doing research right, you joined Salford after they won the £1 million game against KR.
Yeah.
What was that like, going from, like, obviously fighting the relegation to getting to a grand final in that short time?
Yeah, it was mad because, as we said, I finished OKR in 2015, and then they got relegated the following year against Salford, where I was playing for Bradford at the time. And then I signed for Salford following that, and I thought Super League days was over, like we just spoke about. So going back to Salford, playing Super League again, and then as you just touched on, making a grand final, a Challenge Cup final, like something I never ever thought would ever happen again in my career.
Yeah, it was a mad ascent from Salford in that period of time.
We had a unbelievable, like, 4 years I was there, and every year was good. Like, we achieved something. Little old Salford people. I sort of had the same mentality as, like, Hull KR back in the day when I started. Like, when they're not the biggest club and people don't expect you to win. But them 4 years I was at Salford, we sort of changed the dynamic of the club, and people didn't see us as sort of whipping boys and it's going to be an easier win. We changed the mentality of that club. I know it's changed a lot now with the trouble they're having now, but them 4 years I was there, definitely we changed things.
Yeah, because you had Maran Kukash throwing the money in the knee, and Watson as the coach. And it was, I actually did feel bad after the grand final. I thought we've just killed a fairy tale here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah. Yeah, it was an unbelievable game. And again, playing Saints in that final, they didn't blow us out the water either. It was quite a
No,
close
no.
game. I think they won maybe about 14 points in. I'm not too sure, I can't remember, but it wasn't a blowout score, which was a bit respectable again, like thinking of Salford playing Saints, but it would have been a magical story, wouldn't it, Salford winning a grand final.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
it. I
not
mean,
one of those
they,
things
they,
as
they
well?
turned up and just fronted the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's one of those things as well, though, Chris, isn't it? Like you stepping out at Old Trafford, it must have been a great feeling.
Oh, unbelievable. The first time I obviously played there at Old Trafford, and I played at Wembley, like we spoke about with Hull KR in 2015, and that was madness. It's such a big stadium, but Old Trafford, it seems to be a bit more on top of you. And again, like 60, 70,000 people there. The noise was just deafening, yeah.
Yeah, I was there myself in the nosebleeds in the Stretford end.
Yeah, it's one of those things as well. Like they do say, don't they? So a lot of players say like the noise gets on top of you, and it can. It's like when Rhinos were in 2017 with Cass, and obviously Cass were beating us all season. It got to grand final, and it was like the noise got on top of Castleford, and it just kind of they swallowed them up a little bit. So
Yeah,
obviously,
it can be like that. I think that sort of happened to make us at OKR as well. It's been such a long time with OKR getting to a major final back in 2015. I think like the awe of being at Wembley and in a final, I think it just got the better of us, and we didn't realise the task in hand. And before you know it, Leeds have put 20 points on you. And you're not bringing that back. Leeds was unbelievable that year. I think they might have won the treble that year as well.
yeah,
Um,
have a lot of yeah.
so, I think the occasion just got the better of us, like we're talking about. Yeah.
I think for me, I think Neil Udrell spoke about it quite recently before Rovers won the trophies they did this year. In that 2015 final, Chris, I mean, I think the mentality was all wrong going into the final. I think when we won the semi final, correct me if I'm wrong, the semi final was like the final. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So the preparation building up to the final was crazy, and it probably got the best of us in the end. I would have said. What was your
Yeah.
sort of opinion with that?
Yeah. Yeah. 100% agree. Again, no one expected us to win that semi final, Warrington playing at Headingley. And it was such a big occasion and celebrated so high when we did win that, because we made a major final. I think sort of the mentality, I don't know if it was mentality of the fans, but I sort of got the feeling of the players that, getting to the final was enough.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it isn't. And now looking back, you realise it's a missed opportunity. Whether people thought differently, the result might have gone a different way. I'm not sure, but yeah, I believe that was the
it's one
feeling.
of them things as well, and no one probably backed you to beat Warrington.
No, no, they didn't. No,
So
again,
yeah,
yeah, like I say, like little old Hull KR, playing Warrington of star players and marquee signings for them. Like no one expects to win, like you say, but we turned up and turned them over.
yeah,
Yeah. I remember that day. I think again, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but I think it was Kenny Seo that jumped up in the corner to catch that ball at the end. Soon as he left the field, I knew he'd caught that and I knew he'd score. And he was just on that point, he just sort of knew that we was there. But you just got the feeling that semi final was like our final, and
Yeah,
ultimately that's probably what got the best of us.
yeah, 100%. I
So
agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just before we touch on Sheffield and sort of the end of your career, Chris, I just wanted to mention a couple of people that you've played a lot with and been coached under, big characters of the game. Clint Newton, Justin Morgan. Clint was a hell of a character, wasn't he, mate? Is there any sort of parental stories you can tell us about Clint?
Clinton was a very serious bloke. He could have a joke and a laugh, but again, I spoke to someone today about players who would come over and was probably influential. That era when Clint Newton, Ben Glier, Mick Vella, Michael Dobson, them players came over. They changed the mentality of the club. It turned like ultra professional, like the standards they had and the expectations of players and what you wanted to do. I think that's what really turned the club around and set them on that upward trajectory. Yeah, made the team a lot better. So them boys I just mentioned was massive for the club.
Yeah, and I know when them boys came over, they probably bought into the OKR way, didn't they? I mean, we speak on this podcast quite often about Aussies coming over and finishing their career and taking an easy pay packet, so to speak. But them guys who you mentioned came over, bought into the club, and really pushed us forward. And I think did that one of them years we finished fourth, didn't we? If I remember rightly.
We did, yes, yeah. That was the highest finish one that we had back then, obviously. And we did finish fourth, yeah. Yeah, great, yeah.
Yeah, there's some great players that year, including yourself, Justin Morgan, Clint, you and all them old guys. Reminiscing about them has made me feel how old I am. I don't know about you guys.
That's nice. I'm not far behind
yeah. Oh yeah, you're a little bit older than me, guys, aren't you? So
yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Your career, Kris, finished at the Sheffield Eagles. Can you tell us a bit about sort of how that came about, the move there, and sort of the process between starting there and finishing your career there?
Yeah, so I did my 1 year at Featherstone Rovers there, and my contract was up. And they did offer me another deal, but Mark Aston came calling for me, and I met up for a coffee with him, and he sold the club really well to me, and his ambitions he wanted to take the club, and he sold it well to me, and I said, right, yeah, I'll come and sign for you. And there's a few Hull boys there already, so it made travelling a bit easy for myself, and that's where it started there, yeah.
I mean, with like Sheffield and Featherstone and sort of them part-time teams, you do get a lot of lads going over from both Hull teams, don't you? OKR and that lot from across the other side of the river, like. So I'd imagine you wouldn't have been short of a travelling buddy or two.
No, we had a few. We had Anthony Thackeray. Again, he played for the black and white side back in his day in Cass. We had Connor Bauer, Josh Godzek. Who else do we have? Massimo Tongi this year. Last year when I was there, and Matty Marsh. So there's a fair few old lads there.
Yeah, definitely a good crack with the travelling a bit, mate. Was he sort of training 3 nights a week and then playing on a weekend? Is that the sort of the routine you was in?
Yeah, we was training Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. But you know what? When Mark Aston was in charge, all our home games was on a Friday night, so it was perfect. You know, we trained Tuesday, Wednesday, play Friday, and then you're not back in while the following Tuesday. So your weekend's back. So home games at Sheffield was perfect for us. I loved it.
So you can get, this sounds wrong, but you can get sort of the rugby out the way Monday to Friday, and you've still got the
That's
weekend
right,
with
yeah.
your family to do stuff. So yeah.
Jack Walker, you played with Jack Walker?
Oh yeah, last year, yeah.
Yeah, what was he like playing with?
He was good lad. But, I think he even admitted himself when he was there, he was holding back a little bit. He wanted to play Super League still, and that was his ambition all the time. He said that to everyone when he signed for Sheffield. He wants to go back and play Super League, and he didn't want to get injured. He really didn't, and you could see that the way he was training and playing. He wasn't giving it 100%, but when he wanted to play, like he could play. Like people was untouchable and throwing passes that you just like in awe of. But you can see he's got the talent, but he wasn't fully committed at Sheffield, and he wanted to play Super League, like we say, which you can't blame him. But if you're not 100% committed, usually that's how you get injured, isn't it?
I think he was more concerned because he'd had so many injuries, stopped his career, sort of thing, at top level.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think he was only on a month-to-month thing at Sheffield as well, just in case the Super League club did come in for him, which obviously Salford did at the back end of the year.
Yeah.
He's had a terrible run of luck. I mean, when he signed for Rovers, he played a few games, then got injured, then played a few more games, got injured again, and then he went out on loan to Hull FC, got injured again, and then hopefully his luck can change and he can get back into the Super League. Like you say, he's had a few clubs now and he's been about. He just needs that rub of the green, doesn't he? So we wish him all the best with that. That's for sure, mate.
I was camping with the England Knights because you've just looking at the team there. I mean, there's some superstars, and that's got to be there.
Yeah. Again, a bit surreal. I think it came off. I can't remember what 2011. Was it 2011? I believe.
Yeah.
I think coming off Hull year then, I think I scored like 26 tries for Hull, so I had a really good year. for OKR that year, and it came off the back of that. But again, like surprise, like I'm a local lad, like getting a call up for England, like couldn't believe it. Like Steve McNamara ringing me saying he wants you to come and train with the actual England squad first. That's where it all started, and then obviously they didn't get picked in the main squad, in the 21 squad for them. So I got sort of dropped down to the England night squad, which again is still a big honour for myself, being coming from nothing. I think that's how I saw myself. So, but as you said, the squad was littered with superstars that have gone on to play just as many games as I have in Super League.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the team there, like Ratchford, Charnley, Arundel, Myler, Mossop, Westwood, Farrell, Gale. It's a bit of a dream team in itself, really.
Yeah, it's not a bad list to be a part of, is it? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not bad company.
I think you've done yourself a bit of disjustice there, Kris. You was definitely deserving to be there, mate. So fair play to you on that one, mate. Moving on, we've got some other fans with some questions for you, Kris. Steve Barker, he asks, do you have a game day routine or superstitions when you was playing?
No, not really any superstitions. I wouldn't ever warm up in my playing top. I'd always leave that until running out for actual kick-off. But other than that, no, as I said earlier, I'm a pretty laid back guy. I just go with the flow, listen to whatever music's the team's playing on the main speaker, and just mingle with the boys. Really, I'm just sort of laid back. It's a bit scary, really.
I'm sure you'll miss that mingling, mate. From the start of next season, when you're watching it on the box and you're thinking,
that will be the part that I miss. I reckon, just having a laugh with the boys and pranking each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, you find that with a lot of players, like when they finish, they miss the camaraderie of it, like the changing rooms aspect of it, not necessarily on the pitch, but in the sheds where you're just messing about or celebrating a win or whatever.
Yeah. People I've spoke to already, I've said the same thing. Like as mentioned, Anthony Thackeray, I would travel with him. Ian lives around the corner from me, so we was there and back 3 times a week. Like we're saying, he retired the year before me, and he said he doesn't miss the game at all, but he just misses being around the boys, having a laugh, going out for socials with them and doing Christmas drinks and weekend off drinks, that kind of thing. He misses that side of it massively, he says.
It's thing though as well, isn't it? You are a tight knit lads. Do you know what I mean? Like you are playing a lot together. You're training a lot together. You will naturally have that bond, won't you? So to break it and then kind of not see it anymore, in a sense, I suppose it is like bad in a way, isn't it?
It is, yeah. As I said, the travel boys obviously spend more time with your sort of bubble, your bus that you're traveling because you're on the motorway with them and training and then traveling back home. But as a team as well, you're with them Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Friday night, game day. So you're spending 3 or 4 hours each day with them. And so you do create them bonds and connections, and you probably spend more time with them than you do probably with your family at home because when you're back home, you're out working all day, aren't you? And the kids are at school, and then before you know it, you're back training again. So yeah, they do create bond and memories with them.
Great stuff. Rob Coates, he asks, who was the most difficult player you played against and why? And who would you compare yourself the most in terms of players?
I think the most difficult player I always remember Martin Gleeson, when I was first coming through at Ulkia. I hadn't played many games and we played Warrington, and he was opposite me in the centre, and he was in his prime and he was sort of untouchable. I'm like, if I've got to play against this every week, it's going to be a long career, this. So I would say Martin Gleeson was one of the best players I've played against, but I'm not sure about comparing myself to anyone else. Can't think of anyone really. You got anyone in mind, or you would, or?
No, I thought you were always quite a unique player because, like I said earlier on in the pod, that you'd come. They ain't much here considering some of the centres in the world are big blokes out there. You like seeing Jake Webster's, etc. But the way you used to handle yourself and tackle anything that moved and sort of play above your weight, that always caught my eye as a supporter. But no, I probably wouldn't compare you to anybody else, mate.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
like going pro so fast, you probably had that bit of a maverick player about you.
Yeah, not many people knew what I was about and just came onto the scene. And again, like players would ask, so did you play for Yorkshire Lancashire game or Origin game? Or if I was like, no, and I was like, why? I was like, well, I didn't play. I didn't play that young, so I wasn't getting picked for them representative teams. So yeah, no one, as I said, no one knew nothing about me until I actually came on and played for OKR.
Yeah, it's not like there was supposed to be
Like having
playing,
a trump card.
yeah, like
Yeah,
17s or 18s at OKI, just bum straight in.
Yeah,
Like,
Who's this?
Advise you a little bit and kind of put some like I don't know, like learn from you, whatever, and be like, all right, we know what he does. You just kind of went boom.
yeah.
Like you say, like that's probably a bit of a trump card.
Yeah. I probably worked in my favour as well a little bit.
Yeah.
I was say new to the game, so I didn't know what it all entailed. I was just, give me the ball or run, and I'll tackle someone that comes my way. Like, didn't really understand the game because I was so new to it, and probably that's what made me have a little bit of flair about myself back then.
I'm sure we'll all agree here, especially with lads. You're definitely obviously up there with one of the best in Super League, I would say. 100%. Like I say, your try records ridiculous and very good with ball tackling, like you say. I know you will have been probably feared by a lot of opposition, so just want to say that, yeah, I think you were
Thank you.
top notch player.
So not a lot of players make it to 450 games either.
No, yeah, I think when I made, I think it's my 100th game for Sheffield during last year. Craig Lingard said, I think, I don't know if he said I'm the only player or one of many few that have played 100 games for 3 different clubs, which was Sheffield, Ulster, and Salford. I'm not sure how true that is, but he said something along them lines. So I thought that was a great achievement and started well to hold.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie at the end of the day, do they? The stats are the stats, and the numbers are good numbers, and they don't lie. Third and final question from some other supporters. Mike O'Neill, he asks, what are your individual highlights from throughout your career, mate? Is anything that stands out?
Making my debut back in 2006 for OKR, I made it with my brother as well. Brother Liam, he played for OKR as well, and we made our debut together. So that was a special time for us both and the full family. Obviously, making the finals with Hulkar and Salford, and went on and played at Wembley again for Featherstone and Sheffield as well in the 1895 Cup final. So, played at all them big stadiums, and their memories I'll never forget.
Yeah, they're the best ones, mate, for sure.
We'd gone unbeaten all year that year in the championship, and I think Morg wanted to rest a few boys for the playoffs and the final, so he threw a lot of young lads in, and obviously me and my brother was part of that, and that's where it all started.
What's it feel like when you're running out there with your brother? Is it a bit surreal?
It was, yeah. For the first team, it was. As I said, we played in the academy together for a couple of years, so was always used to playing with each other together. But for the first team, everyone wants to play first team. That's the top goal. So running out for the first team, getting our first appearance, with the full family there watching was special. Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm getting a bit carried away with all the Rovers chat, mate. But what is that feeling like when you hear the roar of that East Stand? Because sometimes when you're in amongst it like I am.
Anyways, KR. Don't give anyone else a chance. Oh, treble.
Yeah, no, that East Stand's massive. Yeah, just hearing them singing before you stood in that tunnel ready to walk out on the pitch, and when something good happens during the game or try scored, it's deafening, that sound. And I want to be a fan now. Now I've got a lot of time, man. I'm going to watch all my mates play where they're scattered around the championship and come and watch Ulster a lot more. And I want to be in that East End. I've never been in that East End as a fan, so I think I'll have to get in there for one game.
You'll get yourself down there, mate, and the beers are on me, that's for sure. One last thing we need to touch on. No, because you was blocking our lass's car in, that's why, you bugger.
Don't blame me, blame the coach.
If you remember rightly. With coach, weren't you?
Aye.
So, yeah. One last important thing we need to discuss, Kris, before we let you go, because obviously we've had quite a bit of your time so far.
Yep.
The testimonial here. Can you give us some information of events and where they are and when they are, etc.? Just for anybody listening who wants to get involved.
Yep. So we've got a testimonial granted by the AFL for 12 months, which kicks off on Sunday, the 14th of December. That's our launch dinner at the Hilton Hotel in town centre. We have got Wally Lewis there as our guest, a special guest, really. Question and answers with him. He'll tell us a few stories throughout his career. John Wilkins is going to be there, 2-course meal, and there'll be a load of raffle prizes and auctions going on as well. We've got 3 golf days throughout the year booked in already, which you can find on our website and book through there. We've got brochures on for sale, testimonial shirts, calendars, lots of things going on. We're in the progress of trying to organise a game at the minute. I won't go into too much detail, but we're trying to get a FCKR sort of game sorted, but we're just waiting for the Super League fixtures to be announced, which they have now, just to try and fit a game in somewhere, because obviously I'm free all the time now. I've retired, but other boys are playing and grounds are going to be used during the time, so we're trying to fit a fixture in somewhere, and hopefully a game will be announced shortly.
So you've got the website there, Kris. Do you want to plug the website and any social media that's involved with that?
Yeah. Just go on to chriswelham.co.uk, and that's the website, and all information and dates and prices and events, everything's on the website. So any help and support will be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Spot on.
Good. Very good. Just before you wrap us up then, Gaz, I mean, like I say, Kris, we really appreciate your time, mate, and wish you all the best for your testimonial, and really appreciate what you've contributed towards the game in general. For, like I said earlier, for somebody to achieve 450 career games, mate, it's not to be sniffed at. So it's credit to yourself and all your family and people that have been involved within your career, mate. So yeah, that's pretty much a wrap, Gaz.
Yeah. So no, big thank you to Kris again for giving us his time. Thank you for everyone supporting. Just keep liking, sharing, listening, all that carry on. Massive thank you to Acorn Joinery Leeds for continuing to sponsor the podcast. And remember, the podcast is by the fans for the fans. So big thank you again, Kris. And we'll be back next week for one final push, I think.